Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Bit of a cloudy head after the Dazn party last night.
Oh yeah, I heard you was dancing on tables. Is that true? Come on.
There's unconfirmed reports, but it was quite likely.
I watched footage on the Dazn Instagram page, and I'm like, why am I not at this party, man?
Because you wasn't invited. That's why.
I know. I still have a lot of energy in me to party. But listen, Eddie, I want to get right into it. I want to jump right into it, just to not take up too much of your time. First, we need to talk. Caleb Plant tells ESPN all of this stuff about Canelo requests, and he still wasn't happy. Some of the things saying that he was getting guaranteed $40 million, Mexican TV rights, Hennessy sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. But the one that stood out to me the most, Michael Benson tweets out that one of Canelo's requests was that if Caleb Plant gets sick or injured, that Canelo still gets the guaranteed $40 million against any late replacement. But if Canelo gets sick, Caleb Plant would have to wait for him. That's a report. I don't know. Talk to me a little bit about if you read Caleb Plant's comments. What do you say to that?
No, I think, like you said, it's a report. People are entitled to their opinion. Obviously, from our side, I've been kept up to speed with the situation with Eddie Reynoso and kind of left the lawyers to deal with that fight. We know the undisputed fight is one that he wants to make. Obviously, it wasn't able to get over the line for September the 18th, and now we've got to look at either the alternatives or, to remain working on that fight. So I don't know whether the fight is dead, and perhaps there's some more work to do on that, but certainly now looks unlikely for September the 18th.
So wait a minute. I mean, I'm at that point now where I don't care if this fight lands on Telemundo. I just want to see this fight happen. Eddie, you're the promoter. I mean, you said a long time ago that Canelo already told you to start talks with Caleb Plant, but now it sounds like you're saying that you're kind of out of it.
No, not out of it at all. But our proposal was to do the fight on Dazn. We had a proposal as a team to do the fight with PBC, which was in principle accepted by Saul. And, I was happy for him to do that because I want him to take the undisputed fight. I'm not involved in, I'm not the lead promoter of the show. I'm not involved in putting that fight together. What I am on is on the Canelo Alvarez team.
Who's the lead promoter?
No, whoever was put forward by the PBC. But the thing is, Barack, is I'm not going to start throwing my toys out of the pram and worrying about ego about letting Canelo Alvarez take an undisputed fight.
Right.
He told me I'm his guy. He told me I'm his promoter. I'm happy with that. I don't think that anyone would be jumping through hoops from that side for me to be involved. So, I want to I'm staying representing Canelo Alvarez. I don't want to get involved. I'm not making comments on Caleb Plant's comments. It's just that was the beauty of being a network free agent was that, was the ability to do that. And we couldn't get that fight on Dazn. So we moved forward with that direction. Unfortunately, that hasn't materialized for September 18th. We'll see what happens. I spoke to Sal last night. I spoke to Eddie Reynoso last night. We talked about some other opponents. Of course, I'm still sure that there's some options to pursue in terms of seeing if the Plant fight is possible, perhaps on another date. But that's where we're at right now.
So, I mean, Dazn obviously had made an offer to Caleb Plant and his team and Canelo for that fight to be on Dazn. But if the fight doesn't happen, period, just a Plant fight, what are some of those other opponents that you just mentioned that might be in for a Canelo fight?
We talked, obviously, there's been some discussions with Dmitry Bivol over the last few weeks. That's a good fight at 175 pounds. There's other options at 168, perhaps a little bit more limited right now in terms of, the fights that Sal wants. But he's consistently fought the champions. And, up at 175, you've got Joe Smith, you've got Beterbiev. But I think Bivol would be that front runner. He was certainly a guy that I put forward again last night. And I think when something like this happens, it sometimes just takes 48 hours for everyone just to calm down and say, okay, let's assess the situation. Perhaps continue those talks, see if there's any, future in that, or look at alternative options. And that's something that I'm sure we'll all do together over the next few days.
But does he still want to fight in Mexican Independence Day, which he normally fights in?
I think that if the right fight presented itself, you know, perhaps he would look at an alternative date, but we all know that September, you know, that date is important in the calendar. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, has he ever thought about fighting at 180 pounds? And there's this new fighter, his name is Oscar De La Hoya. You know, he said, and he's saying that he's fought way better than Canelo. You could make that fight, Eddie.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I want to spend just one day in the world, the planet of Oscar De La Hoya. It'll be a fun place.
Listen, Eddie, we've got to talk a little Devin Haney. Obviously, Devin Haney has not re-signed with Dazn, but still affiliated with Matchroom, and supposedly he freed himself up to make other fights happen. But yet him and Bill, they're a little annoyed with the fact that Jojo Diaz is in talks with, for Ryan Garcia. And I know that's Golden Boy. It has nothing to do with you. You're on the Devin Haney side. What can you tell us about Devin Haney's potential next opponent, if it's not either of those guys?
Well, I think Bill and Devin have got every right to be.
Yeah.
I think annoyed. I don't think you can be annoyed. Frustrated, probably. I mean, I've said to you guys before, like, it's the most bizarre situation where you've got two guys now. One in Ryan Garcia, who won a final eliminator to fight Devin Haney and ducked him, and then one in Jojo Diaz that fought a final eliminator to fight Devin Haney, and he's now talking about a Ryan Garcia fight. I will say that Jojo Diaz has made some, I believe that he's up for that fight, but I also think that he thinks the Ryan Garcia fight is an easier fight, and I think he wants to explore that option as well. Spoke to Devin, messaged me last night, and I think and Bill the same, just to say, look, we want to start talks now with Jojo Diaz, and ultimately it's going to come down to which way Jojo Diaz wants to go. We're not going to wait for Jojo Diaz, with all due respect to him. Like he's a good fighter, but we've got plenty of other options for Devin Haney. But that's just the mandatory that we were supposed to be fighting. So we'll speak to the WBC and we'll see how that lies. But ultimately, if Jojo Diaz chooses to fight Ryan Garcia over Devin Haney, it's not a lot we can do about it. We've just got to make sure that we get the right opponent for Devin Haney.
But what about guys on ESPN like Lomachenko, or on PBC on Showtime like the Gervonta Davis? Would you explore those fights?
Of course. That's again, when we go back to, and when we say Devin Haney hasn't re-signed with DAZN, Devin Haney, I see him, he's a DAZN fighter, and he will re-sign with DAZN, and he wants to re-sign with DAZN. But at the same time, we try not to give anyone excuses as to why those fights can't happen. Do you know what I mean? So, there's no reason why Len Ellaby and Team Tank don't reach out and say, would he fight Gervonta Davis? The answer is yes. Or Teofimo Lopez is in such a mess at the moment. My God. I mean, it's not his fault, but what a mess that is. What a mess. I mean, you should see some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, the letters that are going backwards and forwards. I mean, God knows.
We don't know. Please fill us in.
Well, no, but it's a mess, Barack. That's what I'll tell you. We don't know who's going to stage it. We don't know where it's going to be. We don't know if it's going to take place. Both guys were going out, sort of goaded on their Instagram that, yeah, look at this money we've made in this purse bid, and where is it? I mean, it's a mad situation. So, you have to, in business, you have to just deal with what's real and what's not real. And for me, we have a very clear plan, a solid plan for Devin Haney. He's had a great run. I think he's, regarded as one of the hottest stars in world boxing right now. We'd love him to fight Jojo Diaz. I think it's a great fight. And we just presume that when a guy fights a final eliminator to fight for the world title, that they will go forward and do that. But this could be the second guy that's chose not to.
Right. He has 1 million followers on social media. He just had a great fight with Linares. It just doesn't make sense for people not to fight him. Now, I think a fight that's being slept on, and it wasn't the main fight we all wanted to see, is Joshua Usyk. Tickets go on sale next week.
Wow.
Probably going to sell every seat in the house. You might not even have a seat. You might as well sell that.
Probably in 1 hour, to be honest with you. Honestly, I can't tell you. And I know that maybe we've all been so deep in focus for AJ against Fury that when we said about Usyk, everyone was like, yeah. But my God, the reaction has been unbelievable. This is a really, really good fight. And the ticket demands, I know the viewing figures around the world are going to be huge numbers. it's a really good fight. You know, it's Olympic gold v Olympic gold. It's unified heavyweight world champion against undisputed cruiserweight world champion. Tough fight. Props to AJ again, man. You know, I know you guys, you know, are fans of AJ as a fighter and a person. Look at the resume. It doesn't lie. You know, Dillian Whyte, Charles Martin, Brazil, Molina, Vladimir Klitschko, Joseph Parker, Carlos Takam, Andy Ruiz, Povetkin, Andy Ruiz, Pulev, Usyk. These are consecutive fights.
Honestly, not just a heavyweight, Eddie. I talked about it last week. Barack and I went back and forth. Outside of Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez, you know, he has one of the best resumes in all world of boxing.
100%.
Right now.
He deserves so much credit. You know, he's a throwback fighter. He wants to improve. He wants to face the best. There are so many guys with his option of, you know, that massive fight who would have just said, Alexander Usyk, you know, very tricky pound for pound fighter, southpaw. Let's park him up. No. If he's my mandatory, I'll fight him. Now, this guy's resume is exceptional, and you can't even compare another heavyweight's resume. Seriously, come on, let's get real here. You know what I mean? And there's been no easy touches. Like, normally, you'd have a guy of that stature, with that draw power, just having a little, you know, okay, we'll just take a slightly easier one. We haven't done that.
All right, Eddie, let's talk fight camp, man. The energy, even from a distance, all the way across the pond, I feel that energy. Everybody's excited over there. The party was amazing. You know, outside of Conor Benn and Joshua Buatsi, which are the two fighters that stand out to me the most with real star potential, who else out there are you excited to, in these 3 weeks, are you excited to fight?
So many great fights on this card. I mean, you mentioned week 1 and week 3. Week 2 is the domestic world championship fight, the IBF featherweight title between Kid Galahad and Jazza Dickens. That's a really important fight for the division. But on the undercards as well, I mean, this Saturday, you've got so many strange fights that have popped up, like Kanzu against Lee Wood, right? Kanzu or Zucan, whichever way you want to call him. Just one of the most fearsome, you know, volume punchers in boxing today, taking on Lee Wood, who can really punch from Nottingham. Avni Yildirim is fighting Jack Cullen, like out of nowhere. Another great fight for Saturday is Tommy McCarthy against Chris Billam-Smith, British Commonwealth European Cruiserweight Championships as well. So, you know, there are so many fights. I do think week 1, as you'd expect when we kick off, is probably the strongest of the 3, but all 3 fantastic. And yeah, like you said, the energy here is great. People want to tune in, see what Matchroom are doing. You know, obviously we've built a great position here in the UK market. Everyone's a bit curious. We're doing the production ourselves. You know, we've got Maya Jama, we've got Laura Wood, we've got Tony Bellew, we've got, you know, it's such a great team. I think everyone's going to love it.
What's going to be different from the last fight camp and this one in terms of production? What do you got? What do you have in store?
Well, we've got fans as well, right, which is massive. But I'm just going to pop outside here. I'm going to be on Wi-Fi, so it might be a little bit... I just want to show you guys because I feel like I should share this with you.
Yes, please.
Oh, so wait a minute. Right out of your office? Right out of your office?
Yeah, that's right. Just straight out of the office, correct.
Wow.
Straight out of the office into fight camp. So this year, one thing we're doing particularly is we've built this ring walk here, this runway. It's going to go all the way down to the ring. You've got the stands here, either side, more stands to go in. We've got the changing rooms that are built. Can't really see them on the side there. Got these huge, big LED screens by the ring walk. We've got fireworks. We've got absolutely everything. We are going to town this Saturday on Fight Camp. And that was a little exclusive tour for you right there.
Do you think Dillian Whyte is going to be there saying, dang, I headlined this last year, and then I've got to wait for a fight in America?
Yeah, no, Dillian's training in Portugal right now. It won't be here, but you know, that was it's a arena, if you like, if you want to call it that, that really throws up a lot of drama because it's so unique, right? You know, like fighters are used to walking out of the O2 or Madison Square Garden. When you walk out here and these fireworks are going off and you know, you look outside and you can sort of see London down there and you're in the open air and you've got trees and like, it's just strange, you know, and it always throws up excitement, drama, upsets, you know, and it's going to be a brilliant 3 weeks and we can't wait to get cracking on Dazn.
Hey, listen, before you get out of here, man, Conor Benn, should he get past Granados, is he ready for a big name? And if so, who?
I mean, I really feel that Conor Benn is an all-improving fighter. I think I said to him the other day, he's so excitable, he's so ferocious. You know, he was here coming down looking at fight camp, and I just said to him, look, Granados, he's no mug, you know. Like, he can fight, and what he'll do is he will throw with you, right? And you've got to be careful. No, I'll take this guy out early. You know how he talks, you know. And I said, like, but the truth is, he's still learning, but he is incredibly exciting. And I think he's very, very good. So I think he's like 2 fights behind Virgil Ortiz in terms of progression. So if you look at like, and that shows really with the Samuel Vargas fight. I mean, I know Virgil Ortiz did a good job on him. What did he go, 7 rounds or whatever it was? Yeah. Conor took him out in a round. You know, it doesn't. And now we go to Granados, and now, you know, we're kind of following suit. So I like the way they're progressing Virgil Ortiz. I think, you know, the Kavaliauskas fight is a good fight for him and a good opponent. And I think we're like 1 or 2 fights behind that progression. So a lot will depend on how he deals with Granados on Saturday. If he does another demolition job, then you have to really start saying this guy's ready for from top 15, top 10 guys.
Correct.
All right, Eddie, man, appreciate the time, and looking forward to seeing what you have in store for Fight Camp and the new broadcast team and all that, man. So talk to you soon.
Guys.
Cheers.
We'll see you soon.